What's up, you guys? It's your boy, Racy Boy, back with another video. I've done this 3 times because of all these stupid cell calls that are pissing me off. All right, so go get your coldest water bottle. Use my code WATERBREAK. They actually are really expensive. I checked yesterday. The prices went up since 2018. So this is ramen noodle with spam in it. So you saw that I posted a video yesterday with spam. Here's more. So shout out to Rich Girl Mafia. She wants to know the story of how my son found me back in my life. All right. So let's say grace. Dear God, bless us for the just name, amen. I had to restart this video because people kept calling me. It wasn't like a deadbeat. It wasn't like my birth mom and my relationship. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like a deadbeat situation or anything like that. All that happened was I was with his mother. We broke up in 2015. He says it was 10 years ago. It wasn't really 10 years ago. It was like, I don't even know what the actual real number is. But I left when he was 7. He says I left when he was 3. Whatever. He came back when he was 13 and I was 33. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters to him because he's a kid. And in kids, that seems like a long time. But what happened was his mother and me, we were in a relationship. She's passed on. We were in a relationship. My belly's growling. It's hungry. We were in a relationship and it just did not work, right? So I walked away in 2015 because there just was a lot in my life. My grandma was dying. I was stressed out. I was overweight. I was almost 700 pounds, almost. I had a lot of stuff happen in the 4 years before that. I was totally by myself. I didn't have any really true friends. I just felt very isolated at this time. And Jama was in my life because Jama came in 2014, but Jama was in my life. And I really just didn't have anything to do, right? And so at this time, my girlfriend's mother was raising our son because I wasn't stable enough. And I remember, I will never forget, there was one night, he was 7. There was one night that he called me because I think his Nana asked me, she was like, hey, can you call? Angel wants to talk to you. So I was like, yeah. So I remember it was like right before his bedtime or whatever. And he saw me and was all happy and whatever. And then he was like, what did he say? He said something like, I want to live with you. I want to live with you. And then I was like, okay. And then his Nana was like, I'm okay with that, but you just have to get your life together. So you think, hello, you would have thought my brain would have been like, okay, you got to get your life together, lose the weight, well, not even lose the weight, just get a good job, get stable so that she's comfortable with letting you take, ownership of him, whatever you want to call it. Let him live with me. But I don't know what happened. At that time, I wasn't even getting SSI at that time. I was literally just, Jama was paying for everything at that time. I wasn't really getting anything at that time because my SSI was there, but my mom was only giving me like $25 out of it. So it was there, but I didn't have enough of it. So anyways, it wasn't the right time to raise him, even though I think my parents would have helped me. So anyways, so then I don't know if that's what happened, but then I know when his mother started going downhill and stuff, and her mother cut all communication between me and him. I didn't do nothing, and it wasn't nothing against her. She's actually apologized since then. She just thought that like she wanted to pull away any negative people out of my son's life. Just like completely don't have any negative people, right? But she didn't know, like, I guess she didn't realize how close I was with him or whatever it was. I don't know. But since then, she's apologized. Everything's good. She's like, you're in his life. You're his dad. That's not going to change ever. But other people knew how close our bond was. Like, I mean, I was the one that like hold him, would take care of him, would change his diapers, all the different stuff, was like always taking care of him. And he would always be like connected to me, like always just wanted me to hold him and everything. Like that's how it always was. I was always there to pick him up when he cried, whatever. We just had a super, super close bond because I could see a lot of myself in him from when I was that age and different stuff and just dealing with a lot of just, I don't know, just the unknown when you're that age and you're just confused or whatever it is, just a lot of different things happening. So anyways, from that time of 2015 to 2022, I was missing him. I would post on his birthdays. I posted Instagram stories. Um, every year I posted on his birthday. I would message his Nana a lot and ask about him and say, let him know I miss him and I love him and I care about him. And then she's like, he misses you, he loves you too. But just for whatever reason, we never connected like around his birthdays or holidays when I'd be like, I want to see him, blah, 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 blah. It's just something would happen and we couldn't connect. But I mean, I had his uncle, I had his mother, I had his aunts, I had his nana, I had all of his grandmother, everybody on my Facebook. It wasn't like I completely cut off the family. Because I said one day, when he's old enough, depending on who does social media or doesn't do social media, he'll be able to find me one day. And I was like, I'll just leave everything open. So come to find out, I would talk to my ex once in a while. She'd pop up in a blue moon and we would talk or whatever. And she would tell me, like there was one time like they were at the park and he was skateboarding and she was like, hey, come down to the park, like come hang out with us. And I couldn't because I had no way to get there. Like she just wanted me to randomly just come to the park. Drama wasn't able to come and get me that day, so I couldn't go. And then I couldn't really tell my family because by that time it was like 5 years that I was single. So my family would have been like, why are you bringing her back in the picture? And da 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 da. So I think my mom would have went because my mom saw her a lot more than I did when I finally was done with her. My mom would see her all the time. So anyways, so I got to talk to my son then on the phone and he said hi and whatever, but we weren't doing like FaceTime or anything. So he remembered me. He said he remembered me. And then when I started my social media, he was one of my biggest fans. That's what his mom said. That's what his nana said. That's what everyone said. And he says it too. He's like, I watched all your videos. I watched all your TikToks. He's like, I was one of your biggest fans. So then, what happened? I'm trying to remember. I know exactly what happened because it all lined up together. Excuse me. It was May of 2022, if I'm not wrong. I think it was May of 2022. He messaged me on Instagram. He said, hey Matt, this is so-and-so. And I was like, I remember I was talking to the granny nanny because me and her were hanging out in my grandpa's room and I got this DM. And it's kind of funny because this is the same way that John and Lily came back in my life too, was through Instagram. And because, they didn't have my number or nothing. They didn't have my new number. So anyways, so he sent me a message. He was like, hey Matt, this is Angel. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, Angel who? Because I didn't know if my fans were like trolling me, and making fun of me or something, because I mentioned him in a lot of videos and stuff like that. So I didn't know if a fan was trolling me. So I said, Angel who? And then he's like, it's so, he said my ex-girlfriend's name. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, really? Like, really? I'm like, okay. So I messaged back, oh my gosh, how are you? Blah, 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 like something like that. No, he said, it's Corey's son, duh. Like, trying to be, like, kind of bossy about it or, like, duh. And I was like, wow, this is kind of arrogant. And then I was like, hey, how are you? Or something like that. And then we just started messaging back and forth and whatever. And he's like, long time no see, da, 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 da. And then I was like, how have you been? Da, 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 da. And, we're just small talk, nothing like that. Big. Because I'm still like, I'm adult. He's a kid. I'm like, I ain't trying to get, caught up with anything, being accused of anything. So I think actually one of the first things I said was, is your Nana okay with you talking to me, So I'm not going to be accused of anything. And he said, yeah, she knows. And then we started calling each other all, because he didn't have a phone at the time. So I remember we talked from May all the way through my grandpa dying on June 7th. So that ruined my whole birthday month. And then his mom, my girlfriend, died on July 11th. So then after that, during the summer, he would call me a lot on Instagram. So we would talk a lot on Instagram because he didn't have a phone at the time. And I mean, we would talk for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of days. He would go to school, call me as soon as he got home, and then we would talk all night until, his bedtime was 10 o'clock. And then he would call me first thing in the morning on Instagram. And we would talk as he's getting, ready for school or whatever. And then finally, I don't remember what happened. I was having some type of sale with my phone company, And I remember they were like, buy one, get one, something like that. So I was like, hey, is your nana okay with me getting you a phone? Something like that. And so she was like, yeah, that's fine with me, but he's got to keep his grades up, blah, 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 blah. He's got to be more respectful. So he did that, and then I got it, and then he came in. That was like the first time I saw him. His uncle brought him over, and he was so much taller than me. He just looked so different. I was like so happy to see him. He was happy to see me. A little shy because, you haven't seen me, he says, 10 years. Um, and then his uncle just thanked me and was like, Matt's good people. I've known Matt pretty much, my whole life. Matt's good people. And then his nana thanked me because when he got the new phone, you know how kids are. When they get something new, they're like learning all the different things about it and whatever. And like he didn't call me for like 2 days or something like that. And then finally he called me. And then we were still using Instagram a lot, still, even though he had an iPhone 13 Pro Max. Then one time he just FaceTimed me randomly, and then we just started from then on just always FaceTiming each other. And like the whole end of 2022, we were like constantly on the phone with each other, building a bond, getting back to what it was before. I mean, it was never broken. It was more like just a timeout, a long timeout, I guess. So, I was like, okay, God, you're giving me this responsibility again. I got to do a good job. I got to be a good dad and like be responsible, be a good encouragement, be someone that he can look up to. And yeah, I'm proud to do that and kind of like get that role again, just be a dad again and be a part of someone's life. And I honestly feel like his mother, with her dying breath or whatever it was, because I wasn't around her, no one really was. That's very sad. But and I could tell you guys that story. I really tried not to because he does watch my videos, and I don't want to get him so emotional, and I don't think that's fair. Um, so I don't really try to talk about that whole situation because I really don't know the whole situation. I just know how it affected me. But I still feel like she knew out of all her boyfriends, and she would always say this, was like, when I met her, she was pregnant. She had him. I was there. All these other guys that she was talking to did not want to be a dad. They ran away. They just wanted nothing to do with her, right? But I just came in like that. Like it was just normal where I would like pick him up. I would hold him. I would feed him. I did everything like a dad would do, and I would like carry his, those little car seat things where you like put him in and it's like a car seat and it's like something to hold them in, like a baby character. I would always carry it. It has like that good arm grip thing. And so I would always carry the diaper bag. And then she would be like in front of me wherever we would go eat. And people would always be like, you guys have a cute baby. Like that's what they would always say. And I would just be like, thank you. Even though I was like, well, technically, he's not really my, like, something like that. But I'm like, no, this is my baby and I'm going to respect it. And I remember, I will never forget this ever. I went to this Puerto Rican barber, this guy, he would always cut my hair. He was really cool, old guy, like in his 40s. And I remember he told me, that's your kid. It doesn't matter if he's not blood related to you. If you've been there from day one, that's your son. That's what she told me. She's like, or he told me, he's like, that's your son. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And then my girlfriend, his mother, was like, you basically are the only dad he knows. So you are his father. And that's what he tells me now. He's like, I know you're my dad. But when he gets mad, he does get mad with me, and he probably pissed at me for sharing this. When the last time I saw him, I remember we pinky, not the last time, I didn't know it was the last time, and he didn't either. But we pinky promised that we would always like be in each other's life, whatever, something like that. And he's like, you broke that, you left, you abandoned me, whatever it was. And I keep telling him like the first year, that it took him a long time. And I think honestly, technically, and we'll have to ask him, and he might be telling me I'm sharing too much, but I think he still thinks that I'm just going to leave one day. And I told him I'm not going to do that. I don't abandon people, even though he's like, you did. But I'm like, it's not my fault. But I guess in his eyes, he wished I would have fought more. And I get that. And technically, he's not wrong. If I could have got my together when his nana said, do you want to take him? Then yes, 100%. He would have been raised with me in this home, whatever. But I think God did it the way he did it because I feel like her dying breath was to bring us back together. And I think that she's watching over us like a guardian angel. And she's like, you two are kind of keeping my legacy going in a way. Because we were like the three musketeers. Like, we loved each other. We had so much fun together, all three of us. It was like, If we would have done a YouTube channel, we would have been the first family YouTube channel because it would have been popping. But again, we would do little keeks and stuff like that. Like there's this one really cute video of him. Me and him have like this relationship where like we'll like joke around with each other and we'll like say something like under our breath or whatever. And so it started when he was like 2 or 3 or whatever it was. And then it would make him laugh. And I remember he said something and he said the B word. He called me the B word. And we were like, what did you say? And then she was recording and she has it because he like hits me and he's like, stop it, you. And then she like, I'm not gonna say it because I can't curse on YouTube. And I'm just like, wait, what? And so it was so adorable when he said it because it was like a 3-year-old, and you see him on TikTok and Instagram like that, and you're like, wait, what did you say? But it was the first curse word he said because I think he's heard someone say it, probably does. But we were super super popular on Keek. Keek was a big. It was like TikTok basically. It just didn't give you music. You had to copy your own music and put on there. But yes, Girl Mafia, that's kind of like our story. And like, I mean, our bond really never broke. I think it's just we weren't around each other a lot. And I think that that's good when you have a super, super close bond with a parent or an aunt or uncle or whoever it is, because they have that boy, what is it called? It's called boy and girls school. Like there's programs after school for kids that are like in the homes where the parents are not around, and they get super close to those teachers too. Or if it's your sensei, your basketball coach, your teacher, your guidance counselor, like a lot of kids find like other people to cling on to where they're not happy in their own home or something. Like when with me, for my situation, I was not happy being here, so I would cling on a lot to like my number one person before Jama came was my auntie. My auntie was someone that I would be like, Auntie, I'm at it. Like, I can't do this. Boom. She'd come and pick me up. Like, nothing. Like, I have a story, and I'm going to tell you guys it tomorrow because you guys will see this. I just posted a video for today for Thursday. You guys will see this Friday. This will go up Friday. But Saturday's video that I'll shoot tomorrow for Saturday, because today's the 28th, but you guys are seeing a video I posted yesterday on the 27th that I recorded yesterday and I'm going to post for today. Anyways, I'm confused with saying it. But Saturday the 30th, okay, the last 2 days before the year is over. Or not year, the month is over. Let me tell you guys this story when your boy would have made it on the news because the SWAT team was looking for me. Not the SWAT team, but the school resource police officer was looking for me. The principal was looking for me. My auntie was looking for me. My teacher that I love everybody. And I walked off campus, and you're not allowed to do that. So I'll have to tell you guys that story. That story, yeah. And I look at my son who does little things, and I'm like, that's nothing compared to what I did when I was in high school. So I'm like, I don't want him to learn the hard way. But me and him are super close, like super, super close. The first thing I told him, and I tell everybody this when I'm ever in a super, 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 super close relationship with anybody, right? It doesn't matter if you're family, friends, or whatever. The way I would raise my children, okay? And this might be bad, this might be good, I don't know. And I think it's good because I wasn't raised this way. I think if you have an open communication with your child, right? Your child doesn't have to go behind your back to do things. They're just going to ask you their opinion. They're going to be like, hey, what do you think about this? Should I do this or should I not do this? And then it's going to, at the end of the day, if it's nothing bad, at the end of the day, it's their choice. Like, I wasn't raised like that. I was just told what to do by structure. And it was like, I never felt safe to tell my parents anything. And to this day, I still don't. I tell everyone else before I tell them because it's not there. So I'm like, when I'm raising a kid, I want my kid to come to me for everything. And it's okay to be their friend and it's okay to be a parent too. But mostly the bigger hat is being a parent, but you could be a friend too. You don't have to be so, how do I explain it? I don't know. Whenever me and him do a YouTube video, I will bring that up as a topic because I want you guys to see from his standpoint of being whatever it is, you know. Um, and at the same time, I don't think it's going to be easy for him either because the way society works, it's not the getting into these later years. These kids got a lot of crap they have to go through. Like it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I mean, we're at war right now. We don't know what could happen, and it's like, and we're still dealing with pandemics, and we're still dealing with the economy going up and down, up and. I mean, there's so much that you guys are gonna have to deal with that we didn't have to deal with. I mean, I'm the '80s baby. We didn't deal with a lot of stuff. Social media wasn't even around in the '80s. I mean, if you wanted to go see your best friend, you went down the street and knocked on Bobby's door and came back and hanged out with Bobby, or went to Caitlin's house and hanged out with Caitlin. I mean, like, that was your choice. And your parents knew each other's parents. Like, it was nothing. And back then, the parents could hit you if they wanted to. Your friend's parent could hit you if you didn't obey. If all three of you got in trouble, you all were getting hit with some switch or whatever it was. Nowadays, shoot, you call child services on them if someone else hit you. Or try to sue the parent for disciplining your kid. I mean, like nowadays you can't play with it. But back then, in the 80s, especially the 40s, oh my gosh. Anybody was allowed to do whatever they wanted to you to get you to obey. They didn't care. If they wanted to lock you in the closet, they could lock you in the closet. And they might not even be your parent. But you got away with it. There was nothing, like, it was stupid back then. But still, kids lived a longer time back then. I mean, there was still stuff happening. Excuse me. Sorry, I just have like all this dust on my laptop. But anyways, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna go. But yes, Girl Mafia. That's the story of how me and my son found each other again. One day I'll get him on my YouTube channel. I don't know. I just know if I do that, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my god, can I date your son?" But I'm like, "Nah, he got a girlfriend right now." But yeah, I think we both are happy that we're back in each other's life. 100%. I think that there's a lot of work that probably needs to be done on rebuilding trust again. Because I think we've done that on our own. But it's still good to have a third person in it because there's just different triggers for both of us that I think a psychologist would work or a trusted person could help. Because yeah, trust has to be built on both sides, not just one side. In any type of broken relationship that you try to give it another chance, and I mean that's with anybody. Like if it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, parents, please, please. I could tell you right now about my issue. Like my dad and me are super close. Well, not super super close because he still listens to whatever my mom says. But when we go golfing and we do stuff together, it's fun. There's like no tension, no argument. It's just like father and son relationship. And it's like I waited for that for 30 something years, guys. I'm in my 30s, okay? It took 30 years for my dad to finally try to have a relationship with his kids. And he's trying his hardest. Certain ones won't talk to him, but that's why I'm looking at my son and I'm like, if he would have waited to be in his 20s or his 30s before he reached out to me, there would have been a lot of resentment, a lot of anger. And I don't think we would be where we would be. I think that we would probably talk every 6 or 7 months, if even. Or I think he would have came out and been like really, really mad and probably cursed me out. You know? But I think that when they try to come back at a younger age, it's easier to fix that brokenness from what you did. You know? So some of these parents that are like, oh, let's try to fix it. And the person is like a family of their own and they're now wanting to pop up. There's still going to be anger. There's still going to be resentment because it's like, where were you for 40 something years? And then they're like, oh, and you expect me to just open arms. Like, yeah, let me give you a hug. Like, hell to the no. Like, my birth mom didn't technically pop up when I was 18, but I found her and there's still issues there. Like, still. Like, there's no type of communication. The trust has been broken. She lives 6 hours from me, comes down here and goes to Disney all the time and doesn't once reach out to me. I have a brother that's a truck driver here that doesn't even reach out to me. So, anyways, I love you guys. I must shut up. We're at 24 minutes in. But yeah, I hope that answers I hope you like that story time of how I found my son. He might not like it, but hey. This is really good. Try it, guys. when I was doing my whole weight loss journey, I was supposed to diet, or not diet. I was supposed to show you guys everything that I made and turn it into a business. But when I'm about to start this new one and do the Ozempic shot, and then I'm going to do HelloFresh, I'm going to document that, guys, and we're going to start a whole chart of how much weight I'm losing on this. And we're going to start something fun. I start in April, so we're going to see how it goes in April, May, June, July. So hopefully by December of 2024, I've already lost, I hope to God, at least 300 pounds. So I feel comfortable again going into 2025, because 2026, your boy and me and my sister and my nephews, we're supposed to be traveling the world. We're going to see castles. We're supposed to be doing stuff in Italy, Germany. Oh my God, we're going to have fun. But I love you guys, and I'll peace out. Peace. Whatever. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Watch today's video, guys. Please like and subscribe. And I love you.